Hello and welcome to IABM TV. Today I'm joined by David Ross, CEO of Ross Video. David, welcome to IABM TV.
Thanks, glad to be here.
So David, can you start with telling us about your new pivot camera system?
Sure, a lot of people probably aren't aware of the fact that Ross Video makes cameras now. At NAB we launched a new line of cameras called the Acid cameras, and those were for high-end chroma keying and general studio use as well. And it has a special feature of having a 444 output mode to be able to do high-resolution chroma keying for green screen work. Just to prove we're serious, on top of that line of products at IBC this year, we're launching something called the Pivot. And the Pivot is sort of at the other end of the range, and it's a PTZ camera, so it's a very small thing that can be mounted in ceilings and so on for conference rooms and for education, and in the end, broadcast, because it's up to 1080p, and it's got a 20 times zoom, and can be controlled through standard protocols. So we're very excited, and sort of the first camera is to show that we're in cameras and some cool stuff, and the second type of camera with the Pivot shows that we're serious about cameras.
And it's been well received here at the show?
Oh, yes. Yes, manufacturing will be cranking up.
Okay, excellent, good news. So you can tell us about your new virtual set technology as well?
Yeah, we've been working on this for a few years, and we launched a new virtual set engine called Frontier. And what Frontier does is it uses gaming technology in partnership with Epic Games' Unreal Engine. And one of the purposes of virtual sets, I think, is not just to look like Tron or something like that, and too many of them look so obviously fake.
Yep.
What this does is allows us to bring photorealism into the virtual set experience, and so we see lighting and even you can even have well, just the way the light can shine through things and glows and things like that. But you also add things like physics now for the first time into virtual sets. So one example is we have a virtual set that has glass windows in it, looking out at the booth. It could be looking out at anything, but we have Dam Square, which is also being generated inside the set. Right. And as you look through the window, you realize it's raining. And the raindrops are hitting the window, congealing together, and then dribbling down the window, as just happens to be in the background of the virtual set. There's other things where we were, wanted to be talking about baseball or something like that, and we tossed a bunch of baseballs in, and they're all bouncing around and bouncing off of each other. Well, it's entirely virtual. So it adds a new level of interactivity and photorealism into the whole virtual set experience. And all that ties in, of course, with our Acid cameras for a high-end chroma keying experience as well. And
it sounds like the attention to detail as well is pretty massive in that.
Yes, so we're pretty flooded with that. And one of the key things, by the way, about us being able to do that is the business side of working with Epic Games. Because we saw a couple of other companies out there that were talking about the same sort of technologies, and they didn't have a business arrangement with Epic. And what that meant was that they were using the standard end-user license agreement, which meant that Epic gets 10% of the take of everything they do. And most broadcasters don't want to give 10% of the profits of the show to Epic Games. So Ross is the only company actually that has a contract with Epic Games to make sure that that is contained and is in the purchase price.
Do you think we'll see more of the gaming industry merging with the broadcast industry a bit more in the future?
Absolutely. In fact, we've been working with Turtle Entertainment and things like that for a lot of the gaming event experiences and things like that. And I'm very excited about being able to do now things with augmented reality, where we may be able to be putting real characters into the whole experience as well. Watch for it. We're going to be doing some really fun things.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
So you've recently made 2 new acquisitions. Can you tell us about this and how it aligns with Ross Video and what it'll do for the industry?
Sure. Well, if you can see the sort of things we're talking about cameras, we're talking about virtual sets, we're talking about production, we make switchers, we make robotics, we make graphics, we make pretty much everything you need to be able to do a live production on the edge of the set, as well as in the live control room, whether it's sports, news, or other types of live events. We were missing servers and replay. We had some high-end servers, but not the sweet spot in the middle of the servers. And replay, of course, is a very specialized system as well. So we bought an iconic brand, iconic company, which is Abacus.
Okay.
And it meant a lot to me, actually, to do that, because I've spent a lifetime in this industry, and Abacus has done so many Emmy Award-winning things over their history, and they have so many brilliant people. It's great to have them now part of the Ross family, and it almost completes our live production workflows.
So, David, you recently made another acquisition as well. And
Funny you should say that, yes. So we bought a company that is not a company that anybody would really know about. Okay. It's an engineering company from behind the scenes. So a lot of the technology that you see it comes from somewhere. Most of the time, the companies themselves in our industry have made that. Sometimes there's some really specialized, very difficult technologies that you go to experts for. And in this case, it's things to do with audio over IP and video over IP, and certainly video over IP with AIMS going on and COTS routing and things like that. This is a hot topic right now, and a lot of the technology that's going on out there was actually developed for some companies by a company called Covelos. And Covelos is a very interesting company that was almost entirely engineers. So we brought 35 hardcore networking, audio, video, IP engineers under the Ross umbrella, and we're now, with the capabilities of Ross, the reach of Ross, and things like that, we're helping them as a wholly owned but separately managed entity to be able to help as many companies in the industry as possible make the transition from SDI to IP and from traditional audio to AES 67 and all the other audio over IP standards and consulting work and things like that. So we're very excited about what that does. And if there was ever any question about where Ross Video stood on IP, we're in with both feet and now are taking a leadership position and actually a collaborative position with any company that wants to work with us, even competitors.
So you're keeping very active and bringing all these other companies in. What's the future for Ross Video?
Well, we bought 12 companies in the last 7 years. We've over the last 25 years, we've grown 17% a year, every single year, except recently where it's been 20% a year, every single year. So our growth is accelerating. We never used to buy companies. Now we're buying about 2 a year, and we haven't had a down year in 25 years.
Which is going against the grain of what a lot of people, what a lot of other companies are saying.
In the last recession, we grew, and then after that, we grew even faster. So what's next? All sorts of cool, fun things. I think really what we're focusing on, though, is content creation. We are a company that is excited to work with customers on anything to do with creating the content, whether it's going to go over television, satellite, legislative productions, whether it's going to be entertainment shows or big screen stadiums or OB vans, you name it, or web, of course, streaming, YouTube, things like that. Ross wants to be a big part of making great television.
Okay, so you name it, Ross wants to be involved in it. You can find out more at rossvideo.com.